So I showed you how to create a biome, and the first biome we created was the default biome, which planted everywhere, which really isn't what we're looking for here. And then we just changed that biome to a non-default biome, but it wasn't planting everywhere. So this video is going to show you how to plant those non-default biomes. So let's go into Unity, and we see here that we have the biome that we created, my first biome. Now, inside of the same folder where we created our vegetation package, so biome and mask, we see this area in here, and we have this folder called mask. And in there, we've got a thing called a biome mask prefab. And what we can do is let's just drag that out onto the scene. And I'm going to put it in an area where I've got some slope here. And you guys can play with this too. It helps if you have an area with some slope, some elevation. But I'm just going to show you how I form this thing into some shape. So I drug it onto my scene. Now, right now I got 1 point. And when you put this out here, what I like to do is I like to create a whole other folder. And I'm going to rename this, call it Biome Mass. And the biome mask that I just drug out here, which ended up right here, I'm also going to click on that. I'm just going to call it whole one biome. And I'm going to put it into this new empty. Now remember, what we do best practice is anytime we create an empty, we want to put it in 0 space, right? Before we add anything to it. So I got this empty container here. I'm going to take this whole one biome mask that we created, and I'm going to put it inside the empty just to keep things organized. So now I've got this whole one biome. I got it highlighted, and you can see over here, if I control click, I can start adding points. And it's just like splining an Inkscape or using RAM, and I can just start creating, and then I can actually move these points around and drag them. And now I have kind of like these 2 circles, okay? And I can delete points too. I can, if I hold Control Shift, I can delete a point. I hold down Control, add a point. Red is where I'm going to be, if I plant any trees or any objects or any grasses, it's going to be full density inside of the red, and then it's going to taper out between the red and the white. And that'll make more sense as you show this moving forward, but I just want to show you where you can adjust this. So this blend distance here, I can change it so that, you know, the distance between that red and that white where things are going to taper off is going to change. So I'm going to leave this right about there for now, okay? And we'll tweak this later on. And down underneath here, you're going to say, well, why isn't there anything in there yet? Well, because I haven't assigned a biome to it, right? And if you recall, I created that, we created that biome earlier. Right now it's saying default, and we don't have a default biome. Remember, that plants everywhere, but we did change it to biome 1. So if I select that biome, all of a sudden you see that I've got a tree planted there. Because that tree is a part, we got a couple trees planted, tree is a part of biome 1. And now you'll see that if I change this blend distance down to 0, it'll start to plant more trees, you know, outside of that red area, outside that red core area. And if I move that, make that red area really small, there's only going to be 1 tree planted because it's so small, right? That'll make more sense once we get some grasses and stuff in there that are a little bit smaller and have like a higher density. But you can see, you know, how that is adjusted. So at this point, we have a biome mask where we're going to be planting our biome. And in the next couple lessons, we're going to be adding some more stuff to our biome so that it appears and spawns inside of our biome mask.